Hello Leo, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business now and over 30,000 clients worldwide, more than 10,000 students worldwide, and it's my pleasure to welcome you, Leo, to this particular video on your cycles for January and February 2015. What I'm going to do for you on this particular video is first of all tell you a few things about yourself. That's always a lot of fun. To know yourself, Leo, is a very potent urge that we all have inside of ourselves, and to understand the things that make you tick. And then I'm going to look at the movements of the planets, the faster moving bodies, the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars, as they move through the houses of your horoscope. They create events and conditions in your life that represent tests for you. And I'll describe what these tests are and what these events and conditions are. And then I'll wrap it all up with a few things where to go from here. So just sit back and relax, Leo. You haven't come to this particular video by chance, Leo. You've been brought here by your higher self, who reckons that you're ready now to make changes inside of yourself that you weren't ready to make even a month ago. Changes that will transform your nature. You've been calling out to something higher than yourself through some sort of crisis perhaps, for guidance on your path, and your higher self has led you to this particular video. Leo, you're a very self-conscious person. Everything that I do for you with these videos is designed to help you and others like you to become more of who you really are. You must remember that this is just a generality that I'm giving you here, because I don't know your age, I don't know your sex, and therefore it's a generality. So things that I mentioned to do with romance and relationships, when I look at the cycles, won't mean anything to you if you're 65 years of age and happily married, okay? The symbol of your sign is the lion, and you are a proud person. You're a fixed sign, so you don't easily make changes, and you are a fire sign, so you've got a lot of enthusiasm for your ideas in life, but you're tremendously aware, Leo. You're like the lion sitting on the top of the mountain looking down over the herd of buffalo or the herd of deer or antelope or whatever, and just contemplating when they're going to go down and take charge of the situation. And you're probably asked yourself many times, Leo, why am I so awake, aware and alive as to what's going on around me when everybody else seems to be half asleep? You're ruled by the Sun, and you have a sunny disposition, and the Sun is an expression of the second ray of love, wisdom. So you're desiring all the time to expand yourself to new horizons, to expand your understanding about the nature of reality and your place in that reality. Financially, you're very meticulous with detail. You keep all the records of all expenditures and things like that. And you could work in the financial arena in a bank or in the economic side of things or the accounting side of things at some time in your life. You're all the time seeking balance and harmony within yourself and outside of yourself in your communication. You love music, and you find a lot of balance and harmony within yourself through the love of music. And you feel as if you're strongly attracted towards social activities connected with relatives and with neighbours, those close to you. They're the ones who are bound to receive your radiant beams of love and light. And you seem to have a secret to do with the family side of life. So there's secrets there to do with the family. It could be to do with taxation matters. It could be to do with financial gains on the part of the family somehow. It could be your parents, it could be you, it could be matters relating to property. Certainly there's some secrets there connected with money that maybe you're not maybe it's a part of the cash economy or something, and you're not paying tax on it or something like that. Also, there's some secrets that you have to keep with regard to family history there. Now, you live near the water at some time in your life, Leo, and you have a strong leaning in the later part of your life, especially after the age of 35, a strong leaning towards understanding the mysteries of life and life after death. Now, you'd have a lot of travel in your life, and you travel overseas from time to time when finances allow. You're very interested in sports and probably have played sports earlier in life yourself. And you also have children perhaps who are very interested in the sporting side of life. You have a child who lives distantly from you at some time in life, so they could move overseas temporarily or permanently or whatever, or interstate or away from you somewhere distant. Now, in your job, you aspire towards management positions and positions of authority and leadership. You could work in a government job at some time in your life. You do experience problems with your health from time to time, especially to do with the lower intestinal tract or the upper intestinal tract, the digestive side of things perhaps. And you get involved in a relationship before marriage that is where you're living together, perhaps in a de facto relationship as partners and so forth prior to getting married. And your spouse perhaps comes from a different nationality or of a different cultural type than yourself. So that's just a few little things there about yourself, Leo. Now what I'm going to do for you is to look at the movements of the planets as they move through the houses of your horoscope, as they move in their revolution around the Sun, and as the Sun moves in reference to the background space, in reference from the Earth. They all move through the zodiac, and as they move through the zodiac, they also move through the houses of your horoscope, and they bring about conditions and events in your life. And I'm going to put it on a timeline for you, Leo. I'm going to tell you where all these bodies are, the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars on the 1st of January. And then when any of them changes into a different sign, and therefore into a different house of yours, I'll tell you when that happens. And so it's an ongoing thing for the 2 months in an ordered sequence, okay? Remember that you've got to look for similarities to the conditions that I portray. Now, on the 1st of January, Leo, the Sun, Mercury and Venus are all in the 6th house of your horoscope. So there's a real focus upon health and dietary matters as you begin the new year. And there's a real focus upon employment and the job as well. Health and dietary matters come to the fore, and there's a lot more social involvements with people that you work with Venus in the 6th house of your horoscope. With Mercury in the 6th house of your horoscope, there's a lot more communication with the people that you work with co-workers. And Mars starts off the year with in being in the 7th house of your horoscope. Now it remains there for a short period of time until it changes 12 days later. With Mars in the 7th house of your horoscope, Leo, there's potential there for conflicts and arguments with your partner or spouse, should you have one. There's potential for back and kidney trouble and bladder trouble. There's potential there for conflicts and tensions focusing through the general public in some way, shape or form. So you could witness an accident or something like that. And there's potential for your partner to be rather dominant and assertive in their nature, and maybe even to have an accident of some description, not necessarily a big drama. Now, the first change that we have, Leo, is on the 4th of January, when Venus moves into the 7th house of your horoscope, beginning a 2 or 3 week period of love and harmony in your relationship and more happiness for you. Your partner will be more affectionate, more loving and outgoing in their affections, and there seems to be a great deal of social activities out there among the general public, especially in shopping malls and public parades and things like that. Now on the 5th of January, Mercury moves into the 7th house of your horoscope, seeing a lot more communication with your partner. On the 13th of January, Leo, Mars moves into the 8th house of your horoscope. With Mars in the 8th house of your horoscope, Leo, there's definitely an increase in your sex drive, and there's a lot of inner turmoil inside of yourself that you don't openly discuss with other people about changes that you're trying to bring about within yourself, aspects of your nature that you feel that you want to rise above, habit patterns of behaviour that you want to rise above. Your partner could be rather impulsive with money during that time. There can be arguments and conflicts about financial matters and decisions to do with joint finances. On the 21st of January, Leo, the Sun moves into the 7th house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. With the Sun in the 7th house of your horoscope, there's a focus of your personality upon relationships. So if you're not in a relationship, you'll definitely want to strengthen one or get into a relationship at that time. And there's a lot more social involvements with your partner if you have one. And there seems to be a lot more social involvements out there with the general public in public parades and shopping malls and things like that. Now, on the 22nd of January, Mercury goes retrograde. Now, when a planet goes retrograde, when Mercury goes retrograde, it's sitting in the 7th house of your horoscope, so it's going to see some miscommunication, Leo, to do with your partner or spouse, if you have one, and it's also going to impact negatively upon things to do with your 2nd house and your 11th house, which are the houses that Mercury rules. Now, 2nd house is finances and matters relating to your sense of security in life. So with Mercury retrograde impacting your finances, it can see bad judgment with money, problems going astray, and communications to do with money matters going astray. Also matters relating to your 11th house of friends, so there can be some miscommunications there with friends and some miscommunications revolving around other people's children. And group activities can see you saying things or receiving communications which are not harmonious, okay? Now, on the 28th of January, Venus moves into the 8th house of your horoscope. If you're female, well, then that'll certainly see an increase in your sex drive for the next 2 or 3 weeks. With Venus in the 8th house of your horoscope, it brings a tremendous boost to your joint finances that you share with a partner if you have one. And with Venus in the 8th house of your horoscope, there's a great deal of love for the mysteries of life after death and related subjects, okay? But because of the heightened sex drive, it can see some skullduggery there and potential for or temptation to get involved in some sort of clandestine relationship. On the 12th of February, Mercury goes direct again, so those difficulties that I spoke about earlier are now going in the straight and narrow. On the 19th of February, Leo, the Sun moves into the 8th house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. Now, when the Sun is going through the 8th house of your horoscope, you're tremendously introspective. You'll spend a lot of time thinking and reflecting upon aspects of your nature that you want to rise above, habit patterns of behaviour that you feel as if you've outgrown and want to rise above. And so there's a definite focus there upon matters relating to joint finances and the mysteries of life after death and stuff like that. On the 21st of February, the Venus moves into the 9th house of your horoscope and begins a period, Leo, for 2 or 3 weeks where you'll have a lot more social involvements with in-laws, if they play a prominent part in your life, with people from overseas. There's potential for travel for you. It's a good time for travel with Venus in the 9th house, and it sees a lot more social involvements too connected with adult education. So you could be out doing some sort of a course or something like that and link up with somebody and form a relationship. Now, it could be someone from your educational process if you're not too old. Now, on the 21st of February, Leo, Mars moves into the 9th house of your horoscope, and that is a bell of caution. If you're travelling, be careful of accidents and things like that. There can be arguments and conflicts whilst overseas. There can be arguments and conflicts with in-laws. There can be arguments and conflicts about religious differences or philosophical differences. Now I'm going to look at the movements of Jupiter for you, Leo. Jupiter is sitting in the first house of your horoscope, and it has been there for the last 9 months. So you've felt a terrific urge inside of yourself to travel in the last 9 months, and you felt a terrific urge to expand yourself to new horizons. That can come through travel, or it can come through an intake of knowledge. And that intake of knowledge can be on the internet, it can be through study of books and so forth, philosophy and things like that. But certainly there would be that urge there within yourself. But Jupiter is now retrograde for the 2 months of January and February. And when Jupiter is retrograde, it means that you can have bad judgment with regard to things to do with the first house of your horoscope. The first house is self-initiated efforts, and you can have bad judgment. In other words, you can launch some new project or idea which is not based on sound judgment. So just be careful of the decisions and choices that you make about launching new projects and ventures and so forth when Jupiter is retrograde. Now Saturn is sitting in the 5th house of your horoscope to start the year off with, but it's only just gone into the 5th house of your horoscope. That means that it's been going through the 4th house of your horoscope for the last 2.5 years, and you certainly would have felt the impact of that, Leo. For a start, it's seen the death of a parent or the illness of a parent. It's should they play a prominent part in your life. It's seen frustrations for you to do with domestic and family matters, perhaps illness of a family member, and problems in regard to changes of residence, delays and obstructions with regard to transactions on property and changes of residence when Saturn is in the 4th house of your horoscope. Now Saturn has moved into the 5th house of your horoscope, and it remains there for a couple of years, and that sees a need for caution and wisdom and practicality when it comes to romance and love matters. You've got to be practical with regard to the choice of partners and to do with romance and love and the social side of your life. You can't overdo it when Saturn is sitting in that particular house. You can't overdo it on the social side of your life, otherwise you'll pay some price through the law of economy according to the planet Saturn, okay? Now all of us are charged with the task, Leo, of bringing about change within ourselves. The only thing that's constant in the universe is change, and you have not been brought to this particular video by chance, okay? Your higher self has brought you to this video because it wants you to look and see and take on board the things that are being said here and imparted to you. So these are messages from your higher self to you, Leo. These are different messages for you to do with those houses that I've just gone through than they are for other signs, okay? So they're independent messages for you and you alone, as a Leo sun sign or as a Leo rising sign. But all of us are charged with the task of bringing about changes within ourselves, Leo, and change generally comes through the avenue of necessity. In other words, we need to make changes inside of ourselves in order to maintain our financial viability. We need to make changes within ourselves in order to hold the family unit together. We need to make changes within ourselves in order to hold that relationship together. We need to make changes inside of ourselves to hold on to that job. We need to make changes inside of ourselves in order to maintain good health. So these are along the avenue of necessity that brings about changes within ourselves. We also bring about changes within ourselves, Leo, through the avenue of fear and pain. Now, you're never going to get rid of fear out of your life, okay? Fear is a vital emotion, and there's only two real emotions in the universe. One is love, and its opposite polarity is fear. Hate is not the opposite of love. Hate is a derivative of fear. And so therefore those two emotions, love and fear, will always be there in your life. And that's the duality that we all experience in our life, Leo. So we all make changes inside of ourselves through fear. Fear of heights, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of humiliation, fear of abandonment, and so forth, all brings about changes within ourselves, fear of loneliness and so forth. And through pain also we bring about changes within ourselves. And so they are avenues for change within ourselves, fear and pain. But it's much more elegant, Leo, to make changes within ourselves through the avenue of gratitude. Gratitude for what, you might say? Gratitude for God, to God, Goddess, all that is, for the gifts that they have bestowed upon us all. They've given us the gift, for example, of eternal life. We can never ever die. We've all lived heaps of lifetimes, each lifetime becoming more of who we really are. And we keep on living these lifetimes until we reach a level of relative perfection. And then when we've reached that level, we move on into higher states of complexity, higher states of consciousness beyond the human level altogether that we can't relate to, just as the animal kingdom can't relate to our state of consciousness, self-consciousness, that we're experiencing at our level, okay? So they've given us the gift of eternal life, which is a beautiful gift, but they've also given us the gift, Leo, of being able to consciously create our events and conditions in our life by conscious choice. Now, most of us don't want to take on that responsibility, and so therefore we hand over that power to our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind simply creates all of the events and conditions of our life through our raw materials. Our raw materials, everybody has the same raw materials. Nobody's got anything different, Leo. Everybody's got the same raw materials, and they are our attitudes and beliefs, thoughts and feelings, and the decisions and choices that spring from those attitudes, beliefs and thoughts and feelings. Now, if our attitudes, beliefs and thoughts and feelings are ones of low self-esteem and problems with our self-image and guilt and shame and fear and anxiety and doubt and insecurity and martyrhood and self-pity and domination, manipulation, control and shame and so forth, well then what sort of events and conditions, Leo, can we expect to be experiencing in our reality if they're the raw materials that are creating all of the events of our life? You see, nobody is doing it to you, Leo. We don't create our events and conditions out of random chance. Everything happens according to karmic law, okay? And so the object of the exercise is to spruce up those raw materials and to change them into qualities, principles and values of integrity, trust, idealism, hope, joy, wonder, organisational ability, leadership qualities and reliability and so forth. These are the qualities, principles and values that our higher self wants us all to create, and that we're destined to create within ourselves. And when we can do that, we are then able to more consciously create all of the events and conditions of our life through conscious choice, instead of giving away that power to our subconscious mind. And in line with helping you to do that, I have a gift for you, Leo, which is free CDs available from my website that you can go there and you can download. The website address will come up on the screen later and you can write that down. Now these CDs, 12 CDs free of charge, with my voice, with beautiful backing music, and I take you in and out of meditation time and time again with these 12 CDs. And that's out of my first book, What Really Matters, a book about astrology, meditation and reincarnation, in terms that you'll be able to relate to. Now, you have been brought here perhaps by your higher self in order to be exposed to this sort of message. It wants to expose you to that type of message. In other words, it's a communication from your higher self to you individually about your growth and your development in your life and your expansion of consciousness. So you can go to my website and you can download that first free CD, and you can then listen to that and see what you think. If it doesn't mean anything to you, no harm done. You put it aside for 6 months or 12 months and come back later. But if you like it and you like the message that's in there, well then download CD number 2 and go on with that and listen to that. And then you can go through all 12 of those CDs, all free of charge, a gift from myself. And to give you an idea of what's available, I have intensive number 2 and 3, which are a further 24 CDs out of my second book, Coming Home: An Eternal Journey, which goes into things a lot more deeply. And so you can then get stuck into the deeper intensives. And to give you an idea of what people think about my intensives, I'll read to you a testimonial. This is a testimonial that I received about a month ago, an email from one of the students. I've got tens of thousands of students worldwide. Dear Keith, now finally, at last, answers, real answers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The greatest journey of my life. Your lessons are exciting, challenging, and empowering. As you say, I am now in spiritual university, studying consciousness expansion, and you are my loved teacher. And what a teacher! Patient, supportive, encouraging, and expert. It's as if you know at what pace I can absorb information. While some goes over my head or just I plain don't hear it, I catch up on the next attempt. I'm being watched over, helped along, and encouraged all the way. The meditations are perfectly timed and emotional for me. I can see now, though, that my words fail to fully describe the impact your intensives are having on every level of my life. For me to think that events and circumstances in my life are being shaped by outside influences appears now to be a weird dream. I'll never again see anything as I once did, but the impacts are much deeper and broader than that. What wonders will intensive number 3 hold? I'm going to find out. I can't wait to hear you talk about quantum physics and where it fits in to metaphysics. The whole series is gold. Not for the last time. Thank you, Keith. Love, Lex. So he's one of my students, and a very heartfelt communication there. Also, in addition, Leo, to the 12 CDs that are available through my website for you to download and listen to, there's also sometimes I do what's called a free horoscope number 1. Now that means that I've got to do your chart and tell you things about yourself from that particular chart, okay? So it's an individual thing for you and you alone. There won't be another person born, Leo, with the same horoscope as you for another 25,000 years. Now, I can't always promise that this free horoscope number 1 is going to be available, okay? It'll be turned on and off like a tap, because when I do open it up, I sometimes get 40 orders in one day, which means that I've got to do 40 horoscope charts in one day, and I've got to do 47-page analysis of each of those charts, telling them where the moon is, and where the moon is determining your emotional nature, and where it is by sign and by house has a special message for you. And then there's Mercury, where Mercury sits by sign and by house in your horoscope is an individual thing for you, different from other Leos. And then there's Venus, where Venus sits by sign and by house, has a different message for you and a different part of your makeup. And then there's Mars, where Mars sits by sign and by house, has a different message for you again. So these are things that I put into that 7-page printout that's sent to you, and you can then read that and see what you think. And then you can go further and do other things with me, but I won't go into all of that now. So I think that's about all that I wanted to communicate with you, Leo. Now, it's wise to subscribe to my videos, because I am pumping out new videos all the time. There'll be 150 odd new videos coming out in 2015. So subscribe to my videos. And what else is there? Yeah, I think that's about all. The website address will have popped up by now, so you've got that. And I thank you for your attentiveness here, Leo, and I look forward to working further with you should you decide to visit my website and go on with a job that your higher self wants you to go on with, to become more of the giant that you truly are, Leo. So thank you for that.